a trauma can also serve as an inspiration and take you to great heights. This can be very well defined by Devendra Raj Mehta, founder and chief patron of Bhagwan Mahaveer Viklang Sahayata Samiti, an only NGO which is today the world's largest organization for disabled people. Mr. Mehta is credited for making Jaipur food a renowned name across the world.
In the Western design, they have to wear the shoes. Now, in the Oriental culture, if somebody wants to enter a mosque, he can't enter, or a temple, he can't enter with shoes on. In Jaipur food, you either wear the shoes or don't wear the shoes. It's perfect.
The well-known actress and dancer Sudha Chandran is a brand ambassador of Bhagwan Mahaveer Viklang Sahayata Samiti. She also uses a Jaipur foot. Let's hear about her experience.
Just reading magazines, and this beautiful foot, just caught my attention because it looked very natural. So I went deep into it and just read it. I said, what is this? I was fortunate enough to meet Master Ji and D.R. Mehta Sahab. I wrote to them and they said, yeah, please come over. I went there and that's how I got the Jaipur foot.
Along with India's highest civilian award, Padma Bhushan, he has also won numerous other awards like Rajiv Gandhi National Sadbhavna Award from ex-Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and Mrs. Sonia Gandhi. Let's welcome Mr. Devendra Raj Mehta to share his astounding experiences with us.
Begin by thanking the organizers of the annual Youth Summit of St.Xavier's College, Jaipur. It's always a pleasure to interact with the youth. They are the future of the country. You are talking of a dream. I'll start with a nightmare. I met with an accident long time back when I was very young, but still might be a little older to you all. I was collector Jaisalmer, and while on a mission for providing supplies to the famine affected people, a truck hit my vehicle and I broke my femur bone, resulting in 40 pieces of the strongest bone of the body. Doctors wrote me off. Being young, probably because of that, I survived. I brought to Jodhpur. The accident took place there at Pokhran. You heard of Pokhran? Brought to Jodhpur. I was operated on. They first thought they would have to amputate my leg. It was saved. But I remained in hospital, initially at Jodhpur and then shifted to Jaipur for 5 months. Can there be a worse kind of situation? I could have been gone that day. For me, it's a second lease of life. This was the nightmare I was talking of. In the hospital, my leg was tight, leg was up, head was down. And for 4 months, I continued in that position. And all that I could do was to move my torso a bit. That time, I read some books. That was the only thing I could have done. I read Mahaveer, He would say, everybody seeks pleasure, nobody wants pain. Everybody shuns pain. Help people get happiness, pleasure. I read Mahatma Gandhi extensively. You must have heard of the famous song or bhajan, which Mahatma Gandhi would sing daily in his morning prayer. वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए पीर पराई जाने रे. A virtuous man is one who senses the pain of the others. Such a powerful bhajan. Another person who was my hero was Dr. Albert Schweitzer. You heard of him? He was the greatest social worker of the 20th century, or one of the greatest maybe. Mother Teresa was another one. I read him extensively. He lived in the jungle of Africa, near Congo was then not split. Gabon, or Gabon, whatever you call it, was where he set up his hospital. He was a missionary. And sitting there, would you believe he was a vegetarian? Sitting there, he wrote a book on Indian philosophy, development of Indian philosophical thought. And he was known all over the world for his great service, medical service to the humanity. He would say, and that is one quote which I must have repeated 1,000 times at least, let's join the fraternity of those who bear the mark of pain. तो उनकी जमात में शामिल होइए जिनके दिल में दर्द है. So it occurred to me that if I had lost my limb, government would have sent me to England or America at their expense. I was in the government service. But if a pedestrian were to lose his limb, where would he go? So I thought that the facilities for getting artificial limbs were so limited. Of course, my leg was saved. I could have lost it. I must set up a limb fitment center, particularly for those who cannot afford. And that idea became a dream. It became a golden dream. Now, I didn't have the funds. And being in the government, how do you set up an NGO? In 1975, I was Secretary to Chief Minister of Rajasthan. And unfortunately, he lost his hand earlier when he was a child. He knew what the problems of the disabled were. He gave me the permission. And I also raised some fund from the public, some little funds government also gave me. And that's how the dream got a real shape. In 1975, it started in a small way, and I always believe, I have some management background, and as a student of management, I always believe that evolutionary growth is better. You have a management approach which says that you must start with a big bang. The other one is that you move step by step. So I followed the other course, and I'm a firm believer in that. And what happened was, I'll show you this video. Now, please start this PowerPoint presentation. Please start.
Yes, sir.
I'll keep on making comments. When I say move or next, then please move to the next picture. Set up in 1975, it's a registered society. Next one. Let me tell you here that Jaipur foot had been developed earlier in the SMS Medical College. The master craftsman, Master Ramchand Sharma, first thought of it, first made the prototype. Showed it to Dr. Sethi, Dr. Kasliwal, Dr. Udawat. Then four of them set up a team to further improve on it. But the original idea was Master Ramchand Sharma. All the four, unfortunately, are dead now. So we are grateful to them for developing this. But unfortunately, what happened was that in this kind of work, technology is very critical, though, is not the only thing that you need. You need value system, you need management system, you need funding, you need passion, you need leadership. So somehow it so happened that from 1968, when the limb was first developed, till 1975, when Bhagwan, Mahaveer, Viklang Sahayata Samiti was set up. It's called BMVSS for short. Not even 50 limbs could be fitted. And there was a danger of this limb being lost in limbo. It happened. In Madras, a limb was developed called Madras foot by Dr. Natarajan. It's part of history now. Anyway, next one. Next one is the parent body. Presently is the parent body of Jaipur foot. Next one. I told you, Dr. Albert Schweitzer, Mahatma Gandhi and Mahaveer, they influenced me. Next one. And it was born out of hospital bed, out of a trauma. Next one. India has, next one, please move on. Huge population of disabled. Almost 1.86% of the population of India is disabled, all types of disabilities. And 0.8% are such who suffer from locomotor disabilities. Our objective is physical, economic, and social rehabilitation of persons with disability, resulting in mobility, dignity, and self-respect. These are very critical words. Mobility, if they lost a limb, we provide a limb. Later on, we added various other activities, like polio patients were given or are being given calipers. Some people just can't walk, given wheelchairs or hand-pedal tricycles, crutches. And lately, we added hearing aids as well. Now, we also provide at times, on a selective basis though, economic assistance. You give them a small kit for running a tea stall. The fellow gets the limb, he gets this kit, he goes back to his village and starts earning 200 rupees a day. A driver has lost a limb, just think of this. He can't drive a car, he can't maintain his family, he's virtually starving. Now, if he's given this, he can manage his family again, can have his children educated. Then we also do research. I'll tell you about that later. Next one. Next one, please. Then we provide limbs. Just a minute. One more point. We provide the limbs totally free of charge. By now, you'll be happy to know that we have provided limbs to about 700,000 persons or about 7 lakh persons. Calipers to about 500,000 or 5 lakh people. Then wheelchairs, hand-pedal tricycles, crutches. All put together, we have rehabilitated by now, Bhagwan, Mahaveer, BMVSS has rehabilitated over 2 million people, 20 lakh people, and not a single person has been charged a single rupee. 95% of the persons who come to us are below the poverty line. They come from all over the country. Now, what do you take from them? I'll deal with that later. Now this number is slightly older. So I'm talking of today's number. It's over 2 million. Now this boy, he was our worker. He died some time back. He lost both his legs, came as a patient. We engaged him. And he's walking like you and me without a stick. And a disabled person, must have fitted 5,000 limbs to the disabled. Is not a good dream? Next one. Next one. These are some of the products. Next one. These are the foot pieces. It has two parts, limb, foot pieces, and this is the socket. Next one. Now the limb is so good, a person can walk, you can run, you can climb. I'm talking of the below knee limb first. You can climb a tree or a mountain, ride a bicycle, drive a car, all things he can do. And the beauty of Jaipur foot is that it has a special feature. It bends at the ankle. The Western design does not. Now just think of a situation where a person is in a village and he does not have a commode. And if there's no movement at the ankle, which Western limb doesn't have, how does he go to the toilet? He keeps one leg straight, the entire weight comes on the other leg. Going to toilet is a daily torture. Jaipur foot addresses that problem. In Jaipur foot, if you want to wear shoes, wear. If you don't. Western design necessary to wear shoes. With shoes on, how do you enter a mosque, as was mentioned right in the beginning? How does one enter a temple? So Jaipur foot is very special and particularly addresses the problems of the Oriental cultures. Next. Now this is a very special kind of for a bowel knee patient, you need a joint. You see here? This joint. This was developed by Stanford University and BMVSS working together. Of course, most of the engineering was done by them. 14 times their people came to India. Teleconferences, feedback, which we have, then testing, and finally it came out in 2009. And Time Magazine USA hailed Jaipur, this is called Jaipur knee, as one of the 50 best inventions in the world for the year 2009. By now, we have fitted almost 22,000 such joints. The cost of this joint, you will see this here, is just $20, whereas a comparable joint made of a different technology costs $10,000. Next one. We also are involved in research, in-house research, a lot of it. Stanford, I already told you. MIT, another great institution in the USA. 5 years ago, I went there. I'm an alumnus of the management school of MIT, Alfred Stone School of Management. But they invited me to talk on Jaipur foot. So I asked one of the professors as to how many people in MIT got Nobel Prizes. Would you believe in single institution, more than 80 people of MIT got Nobel Prizes. In India, by now, 88 people. So that great institution, their professor came here. We did not invite him, mind you. And he said, we'd like to sign an MOU with you. And they are doing 3 projects for us. Research is going on, of course. Research takes a lot of time. So next one. Then for hand, artificial hand, we have a tie-up with Santa Clara University in California. And I'm expecting the first prototype. It could have been here earlier, but for this COVID. But I'm expecting it now in April 2022. Jaipur foot also has ISI certification. Next one. Next one, quick. Next one, this is ISI certification. Next one. Now features, just next one. African girl. We held 87 camps in 37 countries of the world and generate such an enormous goodwill for the country. Next one. Daily, in the non-COVID period at Jaipur Center alone, in Malviya Nagar, we get about 100 patients. Next one. Now this boy, Vinod Rawat, he's also an employee, came as a patient, we engaged him. He has run 14 half marathons, each of 21 kilometers in Mumbai, and went to the highest point, motorable point in Leh in India. Next one. Just see, this is the ultimate. With Jaipur limb, he can skate. Next one. Now one can walk, run, squat, sit. Now 4 Japanese girls came. They got the limbs. Next one. I was talking the management system. Let me first talk of the value system. Value system is that these patients, though they are poor, they are our brothers and sisters. They have been treated properly. The dignity has to be maintained. Now, if they don't have the money, should we ask the money from them? If you do, what are you doing? They don't have the money, so virtually you are telling them that you fellows, you don't have the money, you get out. As a social organization, your first priority group is the most poor, most needy. And by asking for money, that group, the most important group for you, is the first to be eliminated. Then you are not a social organization. Now, many people argue, if you don't charge, how would you survive? You are not sustainable then. But world has enough compassion. You have Mother Teresa's example, that's what I learned from her. Her centers are run all over the world. The number of her centers now is double of what it was earlier. And none of her homes charge anything. And world's one of the most respected organizations in the world. Mother Teresa was very kind to me. She came to Jaipur. She came to our center. I held one camp on her presence. I met her 3 or 4 times. I went there. And after her death, I went and paid my homage. I went to her grave and paid my homage. Let me add, about Dr. Schweitzer. In fact, in this month, I should have been in Gabon. Our camp in Congo is going on. The sponsors of the camp had invited us, and the condition of my going was that they would take me to Gabon also. So I can go to the grave of that great icon and pay my homage. But because of COVID, that had to be postponed. Now I'll be going to Gabon in May, probably. So this was one part policy. I mean, the value system. Then the management system. Poor people are scared of the formal, rigid systems. So we have an open door policy, no requirement of any appointment, just walking. And would you believe, till the date, we have not asked a single person to go back. If doctor says he can be fitted limb, has to be given limb. Again, coming back to money part, lot of Americans come to visit us, maybe about 500 every year. one question they often ask is, you should charge. I said, why? You will not survive. And people would not appreciate the work you are doing. My answer would be, or my people's answer would be at times, that we are not here in the game of seeking appreciation. Here we are here because we get joy. And secondly, I give a modern example. All of you, the viewers, use Google. You appreciate Google? Do you pay Google? So why link appreciation to payment? Next one. Other thing about management is, management system is that we provide limb the same day probably, or maybe next day, unless there's a complication. Now, world over, the limbs are given after several weeks or several months. So technology is such that we are enabled to do this. Next one. Just see this. Person comes on crutches, get the limb the same day. In a few days, starts running. He can climb a tree. The most versatile limb. Next one. This is the joint, Jaipur knee joint. Next one. Just see this. Both limbs gone and he's running. Next one. Can drive a car. Next one. Africans. Next one. Iraq. One of the most dangerous countries in the world. In 2007, I went there. Took my team, fitted the limbs. That day, 3 children came. So I asked the interpreter, how come 3 children are here? He checked up and he said that the American missile fell in a street in Baghdad. 13 children were playing. 10 died right on the spot. 3 lost their limbs. So we went to their houses. Our organizer, he said, Mr. Mehta, this is Baghdad, not Delhi. It's our most dangerous place. You want to go to the houses? We insisted. Finally, he made the arrangement. Armored car was provided and all that. Now, entire population of that area, Mohalla, turned up. And see the smile on their faces. These are our rewards. Next one. Sudha Chandran, of course, you have seen. Next one. Our cost, this is old one. In 2002, it was 30, now it's $70. Say roughly about 5,000 rupees. In America, the cost is $10,000, 7 lakh something. And time taken is more. This is the ordinary one in America. Upper end limbs cost much, much more. Next one. So it's a very frugal kind of a thing, but very good, very functional. Then we are very frugal. You know, Prime Minister of the country may come to us. We would not offer him tea. We would not offer him even a bouquet or a garland, because we get money from the donors. That money we hold in trust. And it's our duty to see that that money is fully utilized. Now, if somebody donates, say, 100 rupees, only 2.76 rupees are spent on administration. Rest is all going directly to patient. Would you believe? International Red Cross does similar kind of work in 14 countries. The administrative overhead cost is 54%. Now, it's public money. You have to use it as much as is possible for the purpose for which it has been given. Next one. Next one. As I told you again, older, slightly old figures, 87 on the spot foreign camps in 37 countries in the world. And as I was telling you, it generates so much of goodwill. So much of goodwill. I went to Afghanistan 5 times. The most respected product in Afghanistan, in Indian product, is Jaipur food. In Pakistan, we have set up a center there. We are a partner there. Pakistan went twice. 2 centers were also set up later. They called me again in 2018, after 10 years. The Karachi center fitted 25,000 limbs already. We went to shop, buy shoes. People would look at us. Oh, you are from Jaipur food. Yes. We try to give the money mentioned on the tag. How can we take money? अरे साहब, आप हमारे भाइयों के मुफ्त टांग लगा रहे हो और हम आपसे पैसा ले लें? हम नाचीज हैं ऐसे. They would not take money. You know, this is the impact of compassion. This is the way in which you can join the hearts of the people. And this is what the world needs today. Love, compassion. Next one. As I told you, these are old figures. Now this number is 2 million. Next one. UN celebrated, UN building in New York, 50 years of Jaipur food. Large number of ambassadors came and I was given the privilege of addressing them. Next one. Now just see this. It's an alternative technology, highly innovative technology, continuous in-house and collaborative research, functionally and cosmetically closest to human limb, permits walking, squatting, running, climbing, etc. for below knee and above knee. In above knee also many of these functions exist. May be fabricated and fitted in 1 or 2 days. Extremely frugal technology. Next one. Widely used limb in the world, both national and international. So this is what the dream was, and this is what the reality is. Now people ask us, what do we get? We get joy. We get bliss. A person crawls in having lost both his limbs. He is full of sorrow. He gets the limb in 2 days. He's all smiles. He is benefited. He walks like you and me, as you saw. But we get even more. The smile on their faces makes us happy, makes us joyous. You heard the word serendipity? That's what happens. We get more. Somebody, a great social worker told me, he said, remember, a giver gets more than the receiver. He got limbs, say, worth 10,000 rupees, 2 limbs. And what do you get? You get joy and bliss. Anand, which is priceless and which is unlimited. Who got more? He got 10,000 worth of products and you got something which was priceless. Prime Minister went to one of our camps in Manila, Philippines, present Prime Minister. He saw a young man, he was asked to deliver the limb to him. He did it, he walked, he ran. The present Prime Minister asked him, he said, young man, what do you want to be now? Sir, I want to be police officer. That young boy. And what did Prime Minister tweeted? Look at this Jaipur foot. It provides wings to the disabled to fly high. So when I have a dream, when dream gets converted to reality, the beneficiaries fly high, you fly even higher. Maybe you are out of the orbit. Thank you. Now you can raise questions.
Sir, you're doing a great job for the society with so much selflessness. We thank you for taking the care of society like your own.
Question, please. Any questions?
So the audience has come up with some questions for you. So
Yeah.
the first one we have is, what was the biggest challenge when you were building Jaipur Food? Like, what was the journey like?
You know, as I told you, we started in a small way. So challenges were also small. And if challenges are small, you can get over them. And that's the beauty of moving in an evolutionary manner. Small steps you take. You know,
Indeed.
funding is one problem, but I don't know whether you know my background. I joined service. I served in government of Rajasthan, government of India. Then I was in Reserve Bank of India. Then I was in SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India. Half my life I spent in the financial world. So I have some kind of an inkling of financial wisdom. So I always start an organization with some kind of a corpus. So even this organization, would you believe, we started the world's largest organization, presently spending about 30 crore a year. In American terms, C.K. Prahlad would say that our work would be worth about 5,000 crores. Purchase parity. Now, we started with 4 lakhs. So you have a cushion. So that is one major problem in social work. You have the passion, you start the work, but if you don't have the fund, then what happens? Technology, luckily we had, but all further advancements in the technology were made under the aegis of BMVSS. A lot of changes were brought about. Jaipur LIM today is vastly different from what it was in 1968 or even in 75. Continuous research. So one was this. Secondly, you know, in the social organization, there's always a danger of people swerving away from the main objective. The objective was, we had one person, Premji, a great social worker. In normal terms, he was nothing. His monthly income was 900 rupees. And to my mind, he was one of the great social workers. I persuaded him to be a member of society. How do you get best of the people? He asked me, साहब मैं तो पढ़ा लिखा नहीं हूँ, मैं क्या करूँगा, आप सब लोग ये हो वो हो. और मैंने कहा, प्रेम जी आप जहाँ बैठोगे वहाँ गलत काम नहीं हो सकता. मैं आपसे क्या कह रहा हूँ कि how do you, एक challenge ये है कि how do you get best of the people connected to you? People who can stop you from doing anything wrong. Social organization, it's a serious problem. People get diverted. Now, supposing we have to start with total free concept, and later on people say, no, we must charge. The moment you start charging, you are eliminating, as I mentioned earlier, the most vulnerable, most difficult, most poor section. Then you are moving away from your organization. So funding, and luckily, other thing is, would you believe, without asking at times we get money. If you do something for the poor, do it for free, and you have the credibility. People know that the office bearers in our society, mind you, cannot take a single rupee. I can't even get the water purchase, Bisleri water, Bisleri bottle purchased at society's expense. I have to carry my own water. So these are the, temptation is enormous. So first thing is, must ensure that, it's very difficult to get good people. You must search for them, persuade them to join you. Money was another point. These are the two major points.
Indeed, sir, your hard work shows. We have seen Jaipur food grow and we are seeing it grow right now as well.
We are all happy. The biggest, Jaipur food has done what? I'm saying, I said joy, I said bliss, I said Anand, अखंड आनंद. मेरे एक दोस्त है, वो उनसे पूछता हूँ कैसे हो, अखंड आनंद में हूँ. तो हम अखंड आनंद में आ गए लोग.
बस सर
Jaipur
ऐसे
food has given meaning to life, purpose of life. आप यंग लोग हो, at my age, people think, सबको जाना है ना, क्या ले जाएंगे साथ? बिल्डिंग चलेगा मेरा बैंक बैलेंस चलेगा, मेरे रिलेशन मेरे साथ चलेंगे, अकेला जाऊंगा, साथ क्या चला? साथ चला सिर्फ ये भले काम. So that is the purpose, that is the meaning of life. और पूछिए कोई सवाल.
Sir, our father principal wants to ask you some questions. If you
ऐसा
want.
वापस बोलिए, सुना नहीं.
Sir, our father principal, Reverend Father Eric Sangelo, would like to interact with you.
हाँ बोलिए.
Father, over to you.
Father,
Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon.
What a noble thing I have done today to meet an eminent person like you.
No, I'm, believe me, kindly don't use such words. I'm an humble worker there.
I feel myself blessed today because I have been interacting with wonderful people thanks to the department of BBA, and then today you are the third person, and then your sharing is highly inspiring and highly motivating, and I'm very happy and proud to say that you are from Jaipur and you have put Jaipur in the map. Usually a person coming from South India, we know Jaipur only as a place for tourism. Now we know that Jaipur also has got humanism, and then you are the true embodiment of that humanism. What I admire in you is no appointments and everything free. That speaks volumes about the good work you are doing. I am also privileged like you to have interacted with Mother Teresa several times. In fact, when I became a priest, Mother Teresa wrote a beautiful letter to bless me, to congratulate me.
Great.
So, I have.
She was a divine person.
Yeah. So I have been blessed by her.
And always, Father, always touch her feet. Always touch her feet.
So I have been continuing to receive her blessings. Now, sir, I am very curious to know one question. That is so much with vast expertise, and then with so many people supporting you, you are doing a very wonderful job. Now, do you get enough support from the government? Because government's duty is to take care of the population. It's the government's primary duty is to take care of the population. Do you think you have been enough supported in this noble mission? And did you come across any problems or blocks for the noble mission which you have been doing?
You would be shocked to hear what an ex-bureaucrat is saying about the government. I worked in the government system for 41 years. And I got fed up with the government. For last 5 years, I did not take a single rupee from the government. I mean, in India, not a single rupee. When they give a grant, they ask us to give 23 certificates. I told the minister, I told the secretary of the government, I said, government is talking of ease of business. And what you are doing? You complicated the whole system. So I wrote a letter once. I said, I don't want your money. Would you believe that the Secretary of Government of India, the last 15 years or so, had never visited us? We are the largest in India. We are largest in the world.
Yes.
They are not even bothered to visit us. People come from all over the world. Nobel laureates come. Others come, but not them. So I'm really shocked. And for the foreign camps, lately government said, there the system is different. Ministry of External Affairs is different. And they are giving us money. So we are comfortable there. So they are giving us money. 5, 6 camps hold. So 5 camps are already lined up. Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Bangladesh, 5, 6 camps are already lined up. So government, somehow I don't know, I mean, what has gone wrong. That so much scared of the audit systems, making things more and more difficult. So driving away good organizations from them. We also have a dignity. I told the minister in so many words. I said, we have been working in this fashion. We are in fact doing your job. And this is the treatment we are getting. And lately, well, let me tell you, I was shocked when recently Mother Teresa's home was not giving the extension under FCRA. And nothing worse could have happened. And what are our homes doing? Serving the most distressed people in the world. You can't do it and you don't let others do this.
Anyhow, today they have renewed the FCRA number for them, for Mother Teresa sisters.
Renewed, yes, I'm glad. I thought as much because it has given such a bad publicity to the country.
Yes, they have
Such a bad publicity. I don't think world over we never got such a bad condemnation. After Mahatma Gandhi's death, this was the worst condemnation. I'm not a Christian. I'm feeling this way.
You are a good human being, sir. That's the best.
And believe me, Father, you are a Christian. Not that since you are a Christian, therefore I'm saying this.
No.
But I'm so much impacted by this concept of love. I went to Assisi.
Oh, I see.
Would you believe? And paid homage there also. Mother Teresa, Assisi, and this one. And my last desire of life is, before I die, I must go to Gabon and pay respect to that man.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a privilege hearing from you and listening to the journey, all your experiences and your journey that made Jaipur.
Let me say before you close, let
Yes,
me say
sir.
one thing. I would request you that you should visit us. I get
Definitely.
people from all over the world, Harvard, MIT, students from schools in India, from abroad.
Sir, I'll be happy to visit you and your.
Father, it would be a great thing. And that day, I mean, you'll see for yourself. I mean, speaking is one thing. I can always, because I'm part of that, maybe I would tend to exaggerate things. But you please come and see for yourself and assess whether the things are happening or not.
For sure, sir. Thank you so much for being here
You're
with us
welcome.
today.
You're
It was
welcome.
really an honor
Thank you.
interacting with you.
Thanks a lot, sir, from my side.
Thank you, sir.
Pranam.
Ram, sir.